Okay, let me see something. It should be live now. All right, perfect. We're live. Okay, so hi you guys. What's going on? Let me just put this in the group real quick.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going. It's great.
We missed you.
Listen, I missed home, okay? I don't like I love traveling. Let me not even say that. I was about to say I don't like traveling. I love traveling, but I just got back today officially and I'm so tired. Okay.
Welcome back.
This call ain't gonna be super long, but it's gonna be efficient. Okay. So that's what's gonna happen tonight.
Let's get it.
Okay, so first and foremost, I just want to publicly thank Mike for filling in for the past 2 weeks for me. You know, it is such a beautiful thing to have like my students just fill in my shoes and I don't have to worry about nothing or miss a beat. He absolutely did amazing. So shout out to him. Okay. I am getting ready to share my screen and we're gonna go over a couple things. So first off, write in the chat if y'all paid attention to the hold on, let me see. Wait, Mike, are you on here? Okay, I love you also. Love you too. Thank you so much. Okay, so everybody write in the chat if y'all paid attention to what I wrote in the group last week about Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. If y'all watched it, I just want to know how many paid attention to it. Write in the chat if you watched it. Okay, perfect. All right, so can you tell me the reason that I sent it to you guys? Anybody? What was like the most significant stuff in there? Come on, y'all guys out to me. Y'all can take your microphones off mute.
Inflation and interest rates increasing.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. What else?
Hey, Jess, I think one of the biggest things was Jerome Powell backing the quarter, fourth of a, quarter percent interest rate, 25% rather than a 50%.
Yeah. Okay. And then also, who paid attention to job statistics this past Friday? Just curious.
Definitely did. Blew it out the water.
All right. So was it good or bad?
Good.
All right.
It was good, better than expected.
Which did what to the US dollar?
Made it show.
All right. So,
Made it go up.
Great. Okay. So I try to sorry, my phone's going off. I try to like go over briefly fundamentals every now and then, even though I don't teach it in my course, just because strictly it is very, very like I can't force people to read, I can't force people to pay attention, and news changes every day. So I always just go over technicals mostly in my course, strictly because you can 100% make money knowing technicals only. I talk about it all the time. Like my best friend Philip, he does not do fundamentals at all. He's a technical only trader, but he still is a great trader. But I do think that just like on your own independent journeys, it's super important to just pay attention to fundamentals, pay attention to what's going on, because ultimately, and I say this all the time, like when you understand technicals, you can 100% make money, right? But when you understand fundamentals along with technicals, it's just like decreases anxiety. It just gives you like a sure matter of fact reason why you're in your trade. And then it also helps you lever your positions larger, because if you line up your fundamental analysis alongside your technical analysis and you just be like, oh, this is happening, this is duh, you know what I'm saying? It's like you have them duh moments like, oh, well, okay. And then you just hold on to all your positions without like having that anxiety or whatever the case may be, or psychological like mishaps and stuff like that. So most of you guys are right in the sense that job numbers came out better than expected. I did pull up the written minutes about it. And I'm gonna share screen with you guys so that you guys can see. All right, so the easiest part, or not the easiest part, but the most important part, all of this right here. All right. So just understanding economic activity, like when you look at fundamentals, you really just want to know, okay, how is our economy performing? Is it performing good or is it performing bad? There are multiple things that go in alignment with like why it's performing good or why it's performing bad. But like, as you guys mentioned, like the unemployment rates in the job statistics were better than expected. Unemployment rates decreased, and then of course jobs rose. Also, so the economic activity expanded 5.5%. Let me see. Okay. Employment rates rose by 6.7, and then unemployment somewhere in here. I was reading it last week. Okay, well, wherever it is. Oh, right here. Unemployment rate declined substantially over the past year and stood at 4.0% in January. Okay, so ultimately, we know that that's going to increase our US dollar, and it went in exact alignment with the DXY. And I had a fib on my DXY. It literally just hit that negative 61.8 today, actually. It just now hit the negative 61.8 on this overall major structure that comes from all the way down here. All right. Now, when it comes to how many people, just curious, and I didn't announce this just because it was very, very impromptu, but how many people watched Market Mondays last week?
I did.
Yeah, I tapped in.
I did.
Yeah, I did.
So I
Yes.
talked about 3 things on there. And I want you guys to fill in everybody that didn't watch it. So what did I talk about mostly?
You talked about the correlation between war and gold and how, fear and a war starting in Ukraine can push up the value of gold. That was one of the things.
Yep, gold, commodities, including what other
Oil,
commodities?
oil,
Yes.
silver.
And I talked about oil going to about 120. It hit 125 this morning, or not this morning, when the market opened today. So, and then actually it shot to the 130s and surpassed that 120 mark. Last week it ended at like 115, so it definitely gapped. But that was just a fundamental alone bias, just because it was common sense, in a sense that if we have a decrease in supply, then of course that means that that's going to do what to prices?
Increase it.
Raise them.
Increase them.
You said what? Say it one more time.
Increase the price.
Yeah, increase in prices. So that was a fundamental analysis primarily, but even with technicals, they align. And as far as gold, same thing. Anytime there's fear in the market, anytime there's war, anytime there's any uncertainty, gold and most other commodities will also rise. Now, the interesting thing about gold is that it's paired against the US dollar when we trade it in the foreign exchange market, right? So most people will say, oh, well, if the US dollar is increasing, then why is gold increasing also? So that's why it's very important. Like, people know I don't really believe in like correlations, in a sense of, oh, like if US dollar is the base and everything paired against it, that doesn't necessarily mean everything's going to do the exact same thing at the same time, strictly because you have to understand everything in its individual facets. So you should understand, when you're trading your pairs, you should understand each country in regards to its own individual capacity. But when you understand, like, okay, we have something as strong as, like, let's say the US dollar, but when you pair it against something that's going on in the world, such as oil, it's not as simple as saying like, oh, the US dollar is rising right now, so gold is going to decrease because that's the quote in that currency. Does that make sense? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Hey, I have a question about that.
So, yes.
So, because I did notice that gold rose, even though with the non-farm payroll numbers coming out were better. But I also noticed that the Japanese yen rose as well in comparison to the dollar. And I believe you mentioned on that Market Monday call that the Japanese yen is also like a safe haven when there's like uncertainty in the world.
So the Japanese yen and the chef franc are the safe haven currencies. Okay. But again, like when you look at the reason that people think the foreign exchange market is one of the most difficult markets to master in general is because there's so many different facets that apply in this one big grand like melting pot of things, right? So yes, the Japanese yen is a safe haven currency. So anytime there's fear, like people put their money in the yen, but you have different things that affect the yen. Like people do the yen in the futures market. Like there's so many other markets. Like, of course, we trade currency, right? We don't like just invest in like one particular market. Like we don't just put money in the DXY and just let the DXY run, right? We look at the DXY when we look at like all of our pairs, but we actually trade it against other currencies. So like the DXY against the US dollar, or I'm sorry, not the DXY against the US dollar, like the DXY as the US dollar paired against another currency pair. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So as far as our pairs, to be honest, I have everything doing exactly what it's doing. Okay. And it is so annoying because I literally, before the market opened, I had this gold pushing up to this negative 61.8, which right now is just now reaching this negative 61.8 on this overall major structure. So everything is still extremely bullish. Like I still have GU, EU selling. For the most part, for like the beginning part of the week, I have GU, EU selling, I have gold continuing to buy until a lot of this momentum stops. So like this right here, this GU, I want to see this push down to this negative 61.8. Everything is approaching monthly foundation levels right now. So this solid line right here is a foundation level. If I go to gold here, we see we approaching this little foundation level up here. EU, I am by. This is a like weekly level right here. So everything is kind of like aligning the same, but I wanted to see the rest of all this stuff finish its fall. The reason I said today is going to be short, sweet, and to the point is because if you're not already in these positions, don't take new positions until we have somewhat of a pullback, just because everything is still super, super aggressive. And if you didn't get in last week, like I wouldn't say risk any of your entries just because all of this stuff is kind of like finishing up its overall structures. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the trades for the week are super easy though. GU sell, EU sell, gold rising, GJ and EJ, same thing. I want to see all of this like momentum just finish first. All right. And then we have like, of course, you got to pay attention to your major and minor structures and the structures that you're in. So we have like this, like you see, we have this minor structure, this hit negative 61.8, then we had this pullback right here. So now you would just put this at this little new, I'm gonna put it right here until we have like a new lower point. But yeah, just wait to see everything finish out its structures. If you super new to these calls, all right, don't let none of these fibs or these Fibonacci structures confuse you. But yeah, long term, this is still dropping. Everything is honestly still dropping, like for the very beginning part of this week. Then after, like, let's say, I don't know, Tuesday, Wednesday, I haven't even checked news for a week. To be honest, I just got home. Like, my coat is right here. I literally just rushed in the house to do this call. So I haven't even checked like all the news that I wanted to check before, or all the news that I usually check before I hop on these calls. But hold on a second, let me see something.
Hey Jess, if you get a chance, have you looked at AU at all?
I don't even trade AU. I don't look at it, to be honest. If any of my students though want to go over it with him, y'all can. My private.
Yes, I got a question. I'm sorry.
Okay. What's your question?
Well, not a question, a statement. I recently joined your automatic course. And I just went to the Facebook group and joined like maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and I still haven't been accepted yet. Just want to know how long of a process would that be?
It's not long. Liz accepts them. Just make sure that you have your username matching your course name needs to match your the username on your Facebook.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
You
Okay,
should be able
so
to see
I
yourself
just
in the
checked.
directory.
What?
I was saying you should be able to see yourself in the directory too before you even.
Yeah, so your name in the directory, just make sure it matches your Facebook name and then she'll accept you because she goes and verifies them. I had too many people like making fake profiles and stuff like that. So now it's just like a super tedious process to get in. Actually, it's not even tedious. Just make sure the names match and she'll accept you. But okay, so we have US news on Wednesday. A lot of it. So honestly, I'm looking to see everything kind of finish out its place. And of course, we'll have like a minor pullback this week, but I'm still bearish on a lot of these trades. One, because the Euro economy is like super weak right now. And with Euros and Great Britain, or with the pound as well as the Euros, like with what's happening on European soil right now, I mean, it's war. That just means bad. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at fundamentals, you don't even have to make it super, super hard. You just look at it and say, okay, is this good or bad for the economy? Oh, you guys can't see my screen. That's so awkward. When you look at it, you just say, okay, is this good or bad for the economy? If it's good, then ultimately, you know, that will rise whatever country it is that you're looked at. If it's bad, of course, that will make whatever country you're looking at fall, but then you also have to look at it in comparison to that other country. So if you have two countries, let's say, you know, like GBP USD or Euro USD, and you have the US dollar or the US economy continuing to do well, and then you have an economy that literally war just broke out on their territory, then it's not really hard to determine which one is more significant at that point in time. Does that make sense? I know that might kind of sound like basis, but also you don't want to make trading or fundamentals or anything regarding trading super complicated. It's like very simple concepts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I'm like all of these, I just need them to finish falling, even with this. Like, I'm not about to give y'all a full analysis until this finished. So this, if I just put a bars pattern on it, we're just gonna say this is gonna push to this like this. After that fit reaches there, of course, again, all of these are really on monthly levels right now. Y'all already know monthly means consolidation. You see this negative 61.8. We already have like this little wick exhaustion, but it's just little wick exhaustion. I still want to see like and make sure a lot of this doesn't continue to soar just because we don't have divergence. We don't have anything lining up as another confluence other than the fact that it's at negative 61.8 right now, but also the fact that it's at this weekly foundation level. I mean, right here, this is a monthly GU. We're at a monthly EU dotted line, we're at a weekly. Like the fact that all of these are on foundation levels, of course, foundation levels mean what?
Consolidation.
Anytime you have a big run, like let's take foundation levels out for a second. Anytime you have a big run in the market, what happens next?
Consolidation.
Okay, perfect. So for the week, like, yeah, after these runs just finish, I'm expecting like a little bit of consolidation. So if you don't really know how to trade minor structure, honestly, I wouldn't even say like trade right now, just because the most important part of trading isn't just to make money, it's to protect your capital. So if you aren't like really like, and I'm not saying this for the course students, I'm saying this for people that's watching on YouTube. If you aren't really like abreast in the markets or understand structure and you more so chase the markets, I would say stay out the market until you have like clear identified structure or like your break and retest to validate it. Because again, all of the major structure that needed to happen, like everything really already broke and retested its structure. even our highs and lows were broken and retested. You see, this is resistance that broke, retested as support before it finished this overall buy after it hit that negative 27. We can really adjust this fib right here. So you see how this fib, and again, when people are still trying to understand negative 61.8 and all of that stuff, you always have to understand the structure you're in. If you're on minor structure, the negative 61.8 will always be your pullback. If you're on major structure, the negative 61.8 will be your reversals. So that is that pullback structure, because we see that we're in an overall structure. And then let me put this on auto. All right, because we see we're in an overall structure. And then let's just adjust this to this new high. So this too is sitting, you see, in this negative 61.8 vicinity. So all of this stuff is kind of like playing out really as we speak. I want to just see all of the momentum finishing before we take any like sure like changes in direction. Make sense?
Yeah.
And then once we finish that,
Yeah.
once that bearish momentum and bullish momentum finishes, then just look at the last previous resistance and support of the major structure from the previous time frame. Then you'll carry your pullback to that. But of course, we can't even say what that structure is going to be until we have our highs and lows formed first. Make sense? Sorry, it's kind of like dry. I'm super tired, y'all. Like right now, it's like, what time is it in London? Like, I don't know. It's late, but I'm jet lagged and I'm not okay. I'm so tired. I literally had to force myself to stay up so that I wouldn't miss this call, because I knew if I fell asleep, it was going to be a wrap. Okay.
Thank you.
Of course. Oh, so also, course people, all right, y'all's check-in call is tomorrow. Y'all know it's the first Monday of every month. So y'all's course check-in call is tomorrow, so make sure y'all hop on. I do want to say just ahead of time, watch the previous 2 course overview videos that are in y'all's actual Facebook group, so that y'all don't ask redundant questions, please, because y'all know that's a little bit of a pet peeve. Just okay.
Hey, Jessica.
But just make sure y'all actually watch that, okay?
Hey, Jessica.
Hi.
Hey, got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
One of your new automated students, that call info that's going to be posted before the call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I mean, but also it's in your Facebook group as well. But
yeah, that's what I meant. And the Facebook group is going to be posted.
Well, you'll get a course announcement also, but yeah, it'll be in your Facebook.
Okay. And then you said previous videos are in there as well to watch first, to not be asking no questions.
Yeah, it's in y'all
Okay.
Facebook. Really,
Appreciate
just don't ask questions about assignment number 2, because everything is in there for the most part. I swear everybody love to ask a million questions about the assignment. I'd be like, no matter how many times I do it, it's not gonna help you do it until you do it. You know what I'm saying? And people really don't be believing me until they have to go through it, and then they be like, oh.
I completely understand and I respect that. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. All right. Any other questions and not about the course?
Yes, Jess, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind pulling up your GU really quick so I can just show you what I'm wondering?
Sure. Hold on.
Okay, so if you like zoom out just a little bit, the most recent high on the left, and then let's just say like the most recent high from where price currently is. Like let's say those are 2 highs. I know that's not really perfect, but let's just say that those are 2 highs forming a trend line. Based on the news with the war, what kind of news would like cause a pullback to respect that kind of trend line? Like I don't foresee any good news coming out within, the next few weeks. So could you give me like a hypothetical example of what could influence something to pull back to kind of respect a trend line like that?
No.
Does that make sense? Okay.
no, not like I don't really understand the question. Like, I mean, I can hear the question, but understanding it is kind of challenging for me because I don't know what new, that's the thing about technicals. It's like you foresee into the future just based off of structure, but you don't really know what news is going to come out. And it might not even be good news in regards to the pound or the euro. It might be bad news in the US economy that'll make it shift,
Okay, so like that kind of answers it, like could be something negative in the US. I was just wondering like what could cause a pullback like that because I couldn't imagine one. So it's just strictly technically speaking.
Oh, yeah. No, it's just, I mean, really, it just depends. Like, but yeah, it just depends. Like,
Okay.
I have no clue what's going to happen in these next few weeks. Last week was such a good week. I wish I did the Sunday night call last week, or I wish I would have redid it after or around the time in which I did Market Mondays, because when I was like forming all my theses last week, I was like, oh, this about to be this. But Mike had already given y'all like the play basically for like technicals, but it was just like, I know a lot of his stuff from last week was like minor structure, but the minor structure is important before the overall move happens, so you see what I'm saying?
I do. Thank you.
No problem. But y'all see how like, I just have everything still bearish for now. And I'm not entering any new positions. I'm kind of like just still in my positions from last week.
Yes, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you have noticed the you can government have issued war bonds, and from the general idea, bonds are worth as long as the government have the ability to pay the underlying debt. And we know right now with the war going on, there is no any business activities going over there. The government is not collecting taxes. So what make these bonds worth? I mean, what make
Can you do me a favor?
investors? Yes.
Can you type the question?
Yeah.
In the chat? Because
Okay.
it's breaking up, and I want to make sure I answer you. I want to make sure I answer you clearly. But
okay, sure.
I feel like you said dealing with bonds. What?
Yeah.
In the economy.
I mean, the Ukrainian government have issued war bonds to support its economy.
Okay, yeah, just type it because I don't know what you're saying. Okay, so sorry. But I think it's like a connection issue also because it's static every time you speak. All right, the last 3 questions.
I got just a quick question. As far as negative 61.8 on major and minor, you said that it will reverse on major when it hits negative 61.8. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but it's a pullback on minor because you got to think about it. The negative 61.8 on minor structure is like you're pulling back to complete the overall trend. So it can't be a reversal on minor structure.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, a few of y'all have y'all hands raised. We don't even really answer questions like that on Sunday night call, but I'm gonna let y'all go ahead a little bit. Go ahead and ask y'all questions.
Hey, Jess, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Not a question, but just to be helpful and add some insight for you on Facebook, on the Facebook group. In the top right, there's a search button. And so for all your students, you can direct them to that search button and they can type in structure. They can just type in the word structure and everything regarding structure, or they can do HW #2, right? Homework number 2, just type that into that search field and it'll pull up every post in your automated course Facebook group regarding anything that's ever been posted about homework number 2 or anything else.
Oh, thank you so much, Dustin. You are so great. Okay, K, can you, I don't know if you type in your question, but I'm waiting on it so that we can end this call. And most y'all on this call are in the course. If not, y'all have graduated. So for all the course questions, remember y'all's call is tomorrow. Okay, so he said the Ukrainian government has issued war bonds and there's not any business activities going on right now, and the government isn't collecting taxes from the general idea bonds are worth as long from the general idea. Wait, that part don't make sense. Hold on. From the general idea bonds are worth as long as the government has the ability to pay the underlying debt. So the question is, the bond makes sense. Okay, you got a few typos in here, but I'm just going to try to figure out what your question is. Hold on. So how does it make sense is your question? Is that your question?
Yes.
Well, in regards to Russia and what they're doing, like, I think that's another reason that oil prices are going up. Like, I don't even think it's just a bonds thing. Like, of course, they have like war. Okay, war, you need money to fund a war. That's the best way I can explain. You need money to fund a war, right? So you're gonna get money through alternative things. So I haven't researched anything with them in their bonds or nothing, because none of that affects me and my trading. The only thing I needed to know is how can I profit off of this, and how me profiting off of this was looking at oil and what that was doing in regards to those numbers. I can look at it and then give you an answer tomorrow. But in regards to funding the war, I think that also has to do with their increase and rise on oil prices, not just with the limited access to the resource, which is why the prices are going up, but also if I own something, I can charge what I want in it because it's me and I have it. You see what I'm saying? So if I have a commodity, let's say I owned gold as like I was like, let's say I am a country that primarily owns gold and I can charge whatever I want to other outlying countries to get this gold. If I need money, then I'm gonna raise the price because I know somebody else need it. Does that make sense? So if that answers your question appropriately in regards to how is Russia getting money right now, I feel like that's what you were trying to say. Again, the question had a few typos, but when you said, how is it the bond makes sense? So the question is, how is the bond make sense? And how are they going to pay their underlying debt? I feel like that's what you're referring to. But if not, then I don't know, friend. Okay. But again, even with everything that's going on with Russia and the war and everything, when I look at fundamental news, there's so much news that comes out on a day-to-day basis. I literally look at, how is this going to make me profit? And if it's not, then I don't even read it. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, let me finish going through this.
I think Russia's funding the war through the oil and gas, because that was like, they excluded that from the sanctions. The oil and gas was excluded from the sanction, the massive sanctions that were placed on Russia. So that's how he's funding. He's still exporting the oil and gas because Europe is heavily reliant on his oil exports,
right?
Oil and gas export.
Absolutely. So yeah, friend. So when I was looking at how is basically Russia funding everything, I was primarily looking at it from an oil-based thing, not really their bonds, but they did take out bonds. Which you're saying that they took out bonds, then I honestly haven't researched that to give you a direct answer. But most of the articles, to be honest, have the answers in them. Okay, so bye y'all. Good night. Have a great night. Love you guys.
Good night.
Thank
Love you.
And
Thank you.
I'll see y'all on Monday call tomorrow for the people that's in the course. Okay.